At first glance, Mars looks like a familiar neighbor. It has a 24-and-a-half-hour solar day, a tilted axis that creates seasons, and polar caps made of water ice. We are already building the bridge to get there. Current targets from NASA and SpaceX aim to land the first colonists on the surface between 2030 and 2050. But once the spacecraft's airlock finally opens, the reality of the red planet is immediately and brutally hostile. This chart compares the two worlds. Mars possesses an atmosphere 100 times thinner than Earth's, and 96% of that thin air is toxic carbon dioxide. Survival on Mars requires a total technological defense against a landscape where the basic requirements for life, heat, pressure, and oxygen, simply do not exist. 4 billion years ago, Mars lost its magnetic field. This left the planet defenseless, allowing solar winds to strip away atoms from the upper atmosphere. Without that magnetic shield, the surface is constantly bombarded by solar and cosmic radiation. Any long-term habitat must account for this invisible, silent threat. To protect the crew, autonomous robots will 3D print habitats using the planet's own soil, a loose material called regolith. Once the structures are printed, these robots will bury them under several meters of additional soil, using the mass of the planet itself as a radiation shield. To generate air, systems like the MOXIE module will be used to extract oxygen directly from the carbon dioxide in the Martian atmosphere. The first human settlement will be an artificial armored bubble, a self-contained life support system designed to separate our biology from the lethal vacuum outside. For a colony to be self-sufficient, it must learn to farm. However, the Martian surface has never hosted organic life. This microscopic view reveals a chemical barrier. The soil is saturated with heavy metals and a toxic salt called calcium perchlorate. We can neutralize these salts using perchlorate-eating bacteria. As these microbes consume the toxins, they release oxygen as a byproduct. Following this biological treatment, the soil is flushed with water to rinse out the remaining metals. The final step introduces organic matter. By processing and recycling human waste, we add the necessary nutrients for crops like tomatoes to grow. Colonization depends on the success of this biological loop, transforming human waste into the organic foundation needed to jumpstart a dead world. Beyond the chemical threats, there are the storms. Mars produces continent-sized dust walls that merge into global superstorms, blocking out the sun for months. Solar-powered rovers like Opportunity were silenced by these events. For a human settlement, a solar blackout would lead to a total power failure and a loss of life-sustaining heat. Survival requires a stable power source that doesn't rely on the sun, such as a compact nuclear reactor, to keep the crew warm in the sub-zero Martian nights. During these storms, humans will be confined indoors. Outside, autonomous robots like Spot will be required to perform maintenance and map the surrounding terrain. These quadruped machines can navigate the blinding dust and pitch-black lava tubes using onboard sensors, operating entirely independent of human controllers. Conquering the Martian weather means building a world where machines handle the surface, while humans remain sheltered behind meters of shielding. Even if our technology holds, our bodies will begin to fail. Gravity on Mars is only 38% as strong as Earth's. Without Earth's pull, your bones lose density, your spine misaligns, and your heart struggles to pump fluids correctly through your system. The toll reaches down to your DNA. NASA's twin study showed that a year in space altered how thousands of genes express themselves compared to a twin on Earth. While many of these genetic shifts reverted after 6 months back on Earth, some remained permanent. Long-term exposure to radiation and low gravity will change how your body functions at its most basic level. Our tools can build the habitat, but our cells must negotiate with the environment. We are engineering a future for a version of humanity we don't yet understand. Knowing that, would you still step onto the ship?